All right.
All right, it's Wednesday. So what's the catch? 2 p.m. We're doing that stream thing, you know. So we're here, and pitchers and catchers supposed to report. Nope, baseball's stupid. So I'm going to take this off and throw it off.
Good for you.
And I'm just going to throw on my Duff Beer hat. All right, Super Bowl just happened. What did you guys think?
It was a little bit lower scoring of a game than I thought it was going to be. I thought with these two high-powered offenses, I had picked the Bengals 32-28, so I was wrong on that front.
Yeah, I took the over in this game too. I thought it was going to be a little higher scoring than it was, but yeah, I took Rams money line, so they covered for me.
That's good. I expected the Rams to win. I viewed them as the superior team. I thought that the run by the Bengals was cute. It was impressive, but overall it was cute. And just I didn't think that they were actually going to be able to do it when the time came. And they were close. I'll give them credit. They were close. But ultimately, talent wins out. And that's what happened here.
Yeah. So let me just say this. I was wholeheartedly rooting for Cincinnati in this game.
We know.
Yeah, we know.
Yes. I explained this to Bryan on our other show, the Sports Journals, but the main reason is just because I don't like how Stan Kroenke went about moving the Rams back to Los Angeles. I know they started out in Cleveland, then they moved to Los Angeles, then they went to St. Louis and then moved back to Los Angeles. I understand that, but for me, I grew up knowing them as the St. Louis Rams, so that's kind of what I got used to. And then to watch how, in my opinion, Kroenke deliberately made the team as terrible as he could so that it would look like St. Louis didn't give a crap about them, and then he would be like, oh, well, I have an easy excuse to return them to Los Angeles. So as a result, I couldn't root for the Rams. No way.
Well, football was always going to come back to Los Angeles one way or the other.
Okay? That's true.
That was destined to happen. I remember like 15 years ago, there was a rumor that the Vikings were going to go to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember watching Ari Golden Entourage trying to move a team to LA, and it was like, oh, this is going to happen eventually, you know?
And so the Rams were the logical choice because they spent so much time there. You know, you can say Raiders maybe, but they had less time in LA than I think the Rams did in St. Louis. So
yeah.
Or at least it's close. I don't remember. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head. But, I know, Josh, you mentioned that you remember the Rams being in St. Louis. But, people, me and Brian's age, remember the Rams being in Los Angeles. So
yeah, it's true.
That's what we remember. And that's what a lot of people remember is the Rams being in L.A. Like, yeah, it sucks that St. Louis lost football, but it's not the first time they lost a football team. I mean, the Cardinals were in St. Louis before they moved to Arizona.
Yeah.
I mean, the Browns, we lost a football team to Baltimore. It happens to a lot of good cities. It's unfortunate, but so I wasn't really rooting hard one way or the other, but I was definitely rooting against the Bengals. I can't root for a divisional rival to win a Super Bowl. I just can't do it. I personally was rooting for the Rams, but I didn't particularly care. If they would have lost the game, it wasn't going to ruin my day. But I did think the Rams were going to win, and I did think that they were going to score. Each team was going to reach 30 points. I thought it was going to be one of the higher scoring Super Bowls of our generation, and I was a little disappointed that it wasn't, but there was still some really great plays, some really great drives. I mean, phenomenal offense from both teams played. I think Kupp deserved to win MVP. He definitely had a great game. But there was a case to be made for OBJ being the most valuable player in that game before halftime. And when you saw how LA's offense sputtered coming out in the second half without OBJ, honestly, I still could make a case for OBJ being the MVP of that game. Because what's it called? It's the most valuable player. Mm-hmm. And you saw how valuable he was to that team's game plan in the Super Bowl once he was out of it. Mm-hmm. There was a case to be made that OBJ could have been a legitimate choice for the MVP, in my opinion.
Yeah. First of all, I loved that the MVP was not a quarterback. you know my feelings about that. It just happens way too often. But
Mhm.
obviously, I'm just one person. I'm not going to be able to make like that kind of change overnight. So I'm not going to try and make a campaign about it or anything like that. I'm crazy, but not that crazy. Anyway.
I did think that it was going to be a non-quarterback to win this one. I put a little money on Aaron Donald MVP.
I think he should have won it personally.
He had a great game, but I mean, it's so hard to argue with Cooper Kupp. I mean, the 2 touchdowns and in the biggest moments of the game, he made the biggest plays with often, the entire secondary focused on him, So, like, I have no problem with Cooper Kupp winning the MVP. He played an amazing game.
Right.
He was fantastic. He was really good. He was the most consistent and impactful player for the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you, though. I think there is a case to be made for Odell Beckham Jr. if you look at it from the value perspective, but it's all how you determine and how you perceive the word value and how you apply it. That's why the arguments happen in every sport. What's the most valuable player? How do you determine value? And, I mean, the Rams didn't look particularly good in the second half without OBJ. And
no, not at all.
They didn't look good at all. It was a struggle. But as far as Cooper Kupp's concerned, I mean, he was fantastic, more than deserving. Donald definitely in the mix. I'm surprised Stafford didn't get more love for it. I mean, it's a quarterback after all.
Yeah, and he had a great game. He proved everybody, wrong that he could do it in the biggest stage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do want to take a victory lap, though. I was right about a lot of things in this game. Joe Burrow got absolutely, destroyed behind the line of scrimmage. Their offensive line sucked.
I did agree with you on that one.
Well, the Cam Akers under, he only ran for 21 yards. So Cam Akers under hit big time for me. That was one that was never in doubt. And then the OBJ anytime touchdown, I was super confident about that play as well. Good value on all those picks. So I actually came out in the positive, even though I lost the coin toss. And
the under on the national anthem.
The under on the national anthem.
We were texted back and forth between that. I'm like,
you called it too. About 15 seconds in, you're like, "Ooh, she's holding some of them notes." You're not.
She's going some notes. You have this whole choir kind of church vibe. I'm like, "You're screwed. You're not getting the under on this."
Right.
Dang. Yeah. So I had my buddies over for the Super Bowl, and we were getting so into it. It was pretty much a Bengals watch party. So
are most of them Browns fans?
Yeah, it was.
Shame on you.
Wait.
Shame on all of you. Shame on all of you.
It was because we were rooting against the Rams for one reason or another.
Well, if it's a Bengals watch party, it sounds like you're watching the Bengals and rooting for the Bengals.
Because we didn't want the Rams.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you justify it however you need to so that you can sleep well tonight. But if you're a Browns fan and you were rooting for the Bengals, shame on you.
Okay.
I was
openly rooting for the Rams, for a couple of reasons. One, I'm never going to root for the Bengals or the Steelers or the Ravens in the Super Bowl. I just can't do it, okay? Nothing inside me would be able to live tomorrow or forever or however long I live if I rooted for a division rival of the Browns, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, the amount of crap Matthew Stafford has gotten his entire career, which everyone just kind of threw it at him, and I think it was undeserved crap that everyone got. Like the moment that he got traded, I saw a post got retweeted by like the Freezing Cold Takes account. By the way, had one hell of a victory lap after that Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially saying, Los Angeles, welcome Pat Stafford. I'm just like, this is such a stupid fucking nickname. Okay. It really is. The dude's got the most fourth quarter comebacks since he came into the league. Okay. He's good. He's legit.
Oh,
and
sorry, you can finish your point. I thought you were done.
No, I'm not done yet. But he's fantastic quarterback. He's great. Then he went there. He won the Super Bowl. Awesome. Also wanted the Rams to win because all the OBJ bullshit we had to deal with. Okay, this year was the absolute worst. Talking about having the OBJ Baker Mayfield discourse in Cleveland. And whose fault is it? Is it one person's fault? Not necessarily. Is it more on someone else? In my opinion, yes.
I agree.
Okay? But it's not a coincidence that OBJ tied his touchdown total in like less than a season. It was like a little bit over half a season with the Rams. They did 2.5 in Cleveland.
And look at what he did in the postseason too, in the biggest games on the biggest stages. You know, I mean, you should double those stats. You know, they should be considered double what they would be in the regular season.
Yeah,
I mean, just biggest. He had an amazing year considering how it started in Cleveland for him.
Yeah,
so good for OBJ. I was rooting for OBJ too. I really wanted to see him. When he went down, I was really crushed. I wanted him to win the MVP of that game, and he was on track to. I think he would have. Yeah, so that bummed me out. But I agree with you on the sentiment. Like, I just couldn't root for a division rival, period. And, you know, I do empathize with Pittsburgh, you know, residents and natives because I am a big Penguins fan. But even if the Steelers are in the Super Bowl, like, even though a lot of my friends that are Penguins fans are really wanting the Steelers to win, like, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I'm rooting for the other team, period.
Trust me, I get both of your viewpoints, and I respect them, and I do agree with you to a certain extent. So I'm not totally against you guys on this one. It's not like in the future I'm going to root for the Bengals when they're playing the Browns or anything like that.
I don't know. You've been on a Cincinnati kick lately.
Yeah, even in college football season. It started there.
Anyway.
How about Fickle signed an extension? Just real quick, I just wanted to mention that. Fickle extending his contract with Cincinnati Bearcats.
I'm happy for him. I'm happy for Cincinnati. He cashed in right at the right time. I don't know if he'll ever get back to where he was at Cincinnati, but this was the time to sign an extension with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But even though I was rooting against the Rams, I am happy for Aaron Donald that he got a Super Bowl ring. I love that I don't know. Even though Cooper Kupp hasn't been in the league that long, or at least I don't think he's been in the league that long. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one.
A few seasons.
Okay. I'm still happy he got a Super Bowl ring. So there were individuals on the Rams that I'm happy got a Super Bowl ring. Just, yeah, not overall.
Cooper Kupp's been in the league since 2017.
Okay.
So he's been here for a little bit. But, I mean, I'm ecstatic the Rams won. I mean, why wouldn't I be ecstatic? You know, who day? LA day. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, I was very, very, very pleased that Cincinnati didn't pull away and win that game because for a moment it looked like they were going to with OBJ on the sideline and they had that lead. Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, and still, like the other thing we talked about too was like both of these quarterbacks were always going to play well, you know, and they did. You know, Burrow 22 for 33, 263 yards and a touchdown. I thought he had a very fun game considering that the LA defense basically lived in his backfield. So all things considered, I thought he played very well. So hats off to Burrow. But a lot of things about the Bengals were exposed by a good game plan from LA.
Yeah. Definitely that offensive line for the Bengals needs to get pretty much a full rebuild or retool, I think is the correct word, not rebuild.
Retool or overhaul, whatever, however you want to say it. They need help. We know that.
Yes. I think Zach Taylor just got a contract extension himself, so
it's an interesting decision. I'm not the biggest Zach Taylor fan. I do think he's did an impressive job this season, but up to this point, he was objectively terrible.
Yeah.
I know you're kind of stuck in that situation. You're backed into a corner where you get to the Super Bowl. You almost have to extend your coach. But, I mean, he hasn't been particularly good. I mean, for what it's worth, both coaches' game management in the Super Bowl were both kind of bad. They were both kind of bad when it came to the game management. You know what I mean? It was one of the worst game management Super Bowls from a coaching staff on both sides I can remember in a very long time.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how conservative that McVay was. You know, just he was stubbornly sticking to his game plan, and eventually he did get the W. But like,
it worked for him.
It worked. But I agree with what you're saying too about Taylor. You know, and it's teams like Cincinnati, like when you're getting by with these 3-point victories and 85% of your offense is coming from a rookie kicker. And like when you look at all these things and everything that had to happen and line up for Cincinnati to make it to where they're going to get eventually, it's just like that's the kind of stuff that adds up and you should look at and go, okay, yeah, I don't think they necessarily are going to win this game. I think that's why they were 4-point underdogs in this game. Even though LA doesn't particularly pack a home stadium well, and it wasn't that much of a home field advantage. 4 points is a lot in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. But actually talking about what you just said with the whole LA doesn't get much of a home field advantage, I actually want to flip this over to the Chargers for just a sec. Because I already thought from the beginning it was a dumb move for the Chargers to move from San Diego to Los Angeles, because once I heard the Rams were going to move there and then the Chargers, I'm like, okay, I've known the Rams to be in LA, so like they were going to take precedence anyway. So now that now that the Rams have a Super Bowl, the Chargers are going to be even less relevant in LA.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I think the Rams were already trending in the direction of being the dominant, favorite team from the jump there. But them winning this Super Bowl is definitely going to put like every celebrity on the bandwagon, at least for the time being. But yeah, I don't understand. Like, it's San Diego's probably one of the top 5 nicest cities in the United States. So it's always a bummer to see teams leave San Diego. I know that it's about money and a lot more things than just whether or not you like LA better than San Diego. There's a lot more to it than that. But yeah, like it was puzzling when they moved to LA, because it was like, yeah, you're basically acknowledging that you're willing to take a backseat to another team in your host city, which is weird to me.
Yeah,
it's dumb. At least like Los Angeles had like an extended stay, or the Rams had an extended stay in Los Angeles. The Chargers played a season there back in like the 60s. It'd be the equivalent of like the Milwaukee Brewers moving back to Seattle to become the Pilots. It'd be completely pointless.
Right.
Yeah, I get that. So, in the general, team relocations drive me nuts, but there's nothing you can do to stop them. They're part of the business, so yep, just deal with them.
I mean,
what about referees? Do we want to talk a little bit about some of the calls in this game? I know it's on the show sheet here. I imagine you at least have 1 or 2 calls you wanted to talk about, James.
Well, it's more about the lack of calls. And you know what? I know a lot of people were complaining about the calls weren't happening, but can I tell you something? I liked it. Okay.
Yeah, me too.
The breath of fresh air, not having a penalty every other play, and where the referee gets to tell us and talk and be the center of attention for 30 seconds. Okay.
Yeah, I love that.
So many ref crews completely botch games because they decided they wanted to be the focus. Nobody gives a shit about the ref talking. We're not here to see you. We're here to see the game.
Yeah.
Not the penalties you're throwing. So I'm happy that there was a lack of penalties. That being said, they missed a very, very obvious face mask.
Oh, yes.
The Jamar Chase touchdown, I believe it was.
Yeah, that was unreal that they missed that one. And that was a huge moment for the Bengals. And it really turned the momentum of that game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really big moment. But this is something that I think NHL gets right for a change, because most of the things that they do, they get wrong. But referees take a back seat in the postseason. Like, postseason play is a different style of play than regular season play in hockey. And they let them play. They let rougher calls that in the regular season, you're going to put somebody in the box for, they let them go, and I think that's what this staff was doing in the game. So I think they had the right intent. But on a play where a guy, gets his entire face like ripped halfway around his neck, like, you got to make a call there. So yeah, there were some glaring mistakes, but overall I agreed with the sentiment that you have, James, that like, yeah, let's let them play a little bit here.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you guys are saying, that for the amount of time that there was like, let's just let them play and have them decide the game. I loved it. It felt like real almost. Not that when the referees get involved, it feels fake or anything like that, but But once they got to like the 6-minute mark, it felt like there was a flag being thrown on every other play. And I'm like, why are you changing your style of the game all of a sudden? Like this just makes no sense.
I think it was because of the size of the moment, because that has to be taken into effect too. Like, yeah, you want to let them play and like let a holding call in the middle of the field slide or something like that. But like when you're down in the red zone and it comes down to who's going to win and who's going to lose, like you got to tighten up a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really have a problem with any of those late calls. I know a lot of people in Cincinnati did, and they're convinced that the NFL was conspiring to make sure the Rams won that game, but that's not really how I saw it.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say this, not specifically with this game, but I hope it isn't becoming a trend that like the home team for the Super Bowl ends up playing in and winning the Super Bowl every single year from now on, because like we just went through 20 plus years of Tom Brady being in the Super Bowl just about every year, and basically the Super Bowl being renamed the New England Patriots Invitational. So I don't want to see like a new pattern like that where it's like, oh, great, the home team's in it again, and oh, great, the home team won it again. Like
that'd be kind of fun, to be honest with you.
The Super Bowl next year's in Minnesota. Am I wrong?
Arizona.
Okay. I wonder what the line is right now on Arizona to win the Super Bowl.
They're not very good.
I know, but look at the last two Super Bowl champions. Rams did it at home. Buccaneers.
There's got to be some early bettors out there just placing a little bit of cash on that.
That's all I'm thinking is
that's what I'm thinking.
$10 bet on that. Just let it sit there, and that might end up being a big winner.
You really think Cliff Kingsbury can get his shit together?
No, I don't think Cliff Kingsbury or the Cardinals or Kyler Murray can even get there. Okay, because I think Kyler Murray's got a whole lot of problems. Okay, but looking at what they would have to do to get there, I don't think they're necessarily close.
I don't either.
I agree.
First off, I think they have to get past the team that just won the Super Bowl in their own division. Okay,
right. Let's not forget about them.
Yeah, let's not forget about them, and let's not forget about San Francisco still being a good team, regardless of who they have playing quarterback next year. You know what I mean? So, still a good division.
Right.
But I don't think that they're going to be making an appearance in next year's Super Bowl in Arizona. Okay. It's just, I think they're too far away.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I would agree. I think last I checked, the Chiefs and the Bills had the best odds to make it to the
sounds about right. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Followed by the Rams and then the Bengals, and then I think it was the 49ers after that.
I'd have to pull
Sounds
it up.
About right. I think the Browns were kind of far down on that list.
Sounds about right.
Along with a lot of the teams that you expect them to be down. I think they were down near where the Titans are. And
I don't think we're down as far as Cincinnati was last season.
No, we're not. But I mean, they have.
That's not something to hang your hat on, though. But
it's not. It's not. I mean,
at least for comparison's sake, we could say we won that.
They have a much better quarterback situation and receiving situation in Cincinnati than we do here.
Yeah, it's kind of a disaster where we're at.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Anything else you guys want to talk about the Super Bowl before we move on to our next topic here? Or
halftime show.
Halftime show. I loved it.
Good.
I loved it.
I loved it too. Josh,
I mean, I'm not much of a hip hop rap kind of guy, but just from even with that, I still enjoyed it.
That's good then. That speaks a lot about it then. Because if you're not the typical fan and you enjoyed it, that means they put on a pretty good show.
Right. I just liked that it was something different because it feels like a lot of the halftime shows just seem to run together and it's like, oh, it's the same old crap every year. So it's like, it was nice to see a change for once.
Yeah, and I know old heads like me, we'll want to, certain bands, we want good musicians in the halftime show and what have you. But, the halftime show isn't a set. It's not a full set for a band.
No.
You don't want traditional musicians playing the halftime show, in my opinion. So, this kind of amalgamation of just really big artists from different generations. Like, I think that's a really good idea. And I expect that to probably be the trend going forward, where it's more like a festival vibe show than it is anything else. And I don't really have a problem with that. I think it's good for the league.
Yeah, a nice little like sampling of a different couple of artists that are all loosely or maybe even tightly or closely related is usually probably a good way to go with this. I mean, you look at Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. I mean, obvious connection between those two.
Mm-hmm.
And then you bring in 50 Cent and Eminem, and then Kendrick Lamar was there and Mary J. Blige. It was very good.
Yeah. Anderson .Paak on the drums.
Mm-hmm. It was very good. It was very good. I mean, it brought me back to a child in elementary school and middle school. Was fantastic.
I mean, I was feeling the same way. Very nostalgic throughout that entire halftime show. Yeah. But yeah, it kind of like changed my perspective of things, because like my favorite halftime show is always going to be Prince. That was incredible.
That was fantastic.
But you can't set the bar that high, and I think that the way that they did this one is, like I said, I think it's probably going to be the trend going forward, and it's probably the right way to do it. So Good for the NFL for getting it right, in my opinion.
Yeah, I liked, like I said, it was something fresh. It was something new.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I agree.
Cool. I think that other than that,
and the trend of white jerseys winning the Super Bowl continues.
I mean, it's a jersey. It happens. That's more of a betting statistic than it is an actual statistic to put any, I guess, thought or base into, really.
Right. But, Josh, I know you love this stuff. So,
yeah, I do.
The Bengals won the coin toss, did they not?
The Bengals won, and the team that's won was lost. Yep.
So
was that 8 in a row now that the winning team?
It's either 7 or 8 Super Bowls in a row.
I think it was 7 coming into the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's
8.
Yeah. So I just like that type of like off the beaten path kind of stuff. Like
well, if the Browns are in the Super Bowl, we want to lose the toss. Just remember that.
All right.
We want to wear white and we want to lose the toss.
All right. Cool.
If they ever make it, which I have my doubts, all white jersey, white pants, orange helmet. Give me that classic look.
I agree.
That would be the way to go.
Yeah.
Orange pants are cool, but if you're in the goddamn Super Bowl for the first time, white pants. It's such an iconic classic look. Let's be real here.
Yeah,
I do like when they do the throwbacks, when they do the numbers on the helmet too.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind like a traditional look like that if we ever ended up in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that just like a one-time thing for this season because it was our 75th anniversary?
No, they did it a long time ago. I want to say back in 2008 as well. They wore all brown for some terrible reason, and they had numbers on the helmet.
That was a bust.
Do you know the backstory behind those brown pants?
No.
Because those pants didn't have a stripe on the sides, and it was easier for, most notably, Brady Quinn to maneuver in them because there was no stripe, which is why they became incorporated in the uniform set.
That is so funny.
How did the stripe prevent you from like moving around?
Because it's more of a closer material. It doesn't like bunch up on the inside or the outside of the leg.
Right.
Especially with your leg more.
iPads and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. The stripes like an added on thing that's going to just make a little bit of a difference.
I really loved the Browns color rush jerseys. I thought those were good.
Did they wear their color rush this year?
I don't know if they're doing it this year or not, but I thought they were good.
I remember they wearing them all this year or last year.
Yeah, I feel like they did wear them like the whole year, even though it was supposed to be like a promotional thing or whatever. But I thought those were good. I wouldn't have a problem with those either.
Yeah.
I like the 75th anniversary jerseys. I thought those were cool.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't gonna buy one, but I thought they were cool. It was a nice little change up.
Yeah.
As long as they do not bring back the orange jerseys, fuck those things. They're terrible.
Oh yeah, those orange jerseys were bad.
What did you say?
The crunchy Cheeto. That's what I always.
Oh man, they're terrible. I hated those
Cheetos running around out there.
Yeah, they
were so bad.
Yeah, I thought those were awful as well.
Maybe if the era of Browns football where they wore them was better, I'd remember them better or more fondly. But that was like the end of Tim Couch and into Jeff Garcia era, then Trent Dilfer. Just a horrible, just run of terrible Brown football.
I really like the traditional, the brown with the orange and white stripes, just that traditional, like the modern classic look that they go with. That's probably my favorite go-to.
Yeah.
That's a clean look for the Super Bowl, but you don't want to wear dark colors apparently. So
Right. I like the jerseys. I just wish they had. For me personally, I don't like the plain helmet. It's
iconic.
What would you put on it? That's an interesting question.
Hold on. I'm gonna put your feet to the fire here. You like Penn State football? They have blank helmets.
This is true.
That's true. Yeah, I don't love that aspect of their. I don't love that.
It's an iconic look. It's such an iconic look.
I know.
And that's our logo too. Like the helmet itself is our logo. Like that's how iconic it is.
Iconic.
Yeah.
Iconic.
I agree with James here. It's a pretty iconic look.
All right. Well,
just like how the Steelers only have their logo on one side of their helmets.
Mm-hmm.
The Browns having a blank helmet is iconic, like it or not.
I
know. We'll have to agree to disagree on this one.
It's iconic, whether you think it's iconic or not. You just don't like it.
Right.
Okay. Then we're good. As long as you acknowledge it's iconic, you just don't like it. Then we're good.
Right. 100%. It's iconic.
Okay.
I just don't
like
it.
There.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on a little bit, now that the Super Bowl is officially over and the Vikings are able to hire their head coach, Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, it's not Jim Harbaugh.
You were sweating through that one for a minute there.
I had a rough couple nights, dude.
You were just like,
Michigan football was dead.
Oh my God.
We're now a gymnastics school ran through my head because the women's team won national championship.
They got a pretty good women's softball team there too.
Yeah. Baseball just made it to the finals of the College World Series a couple years ago. So I'm like, football's dead. I'm just done. I'm not a Michigan football fan anymore. I'm just a fan of all the other ones. But back to life.
I mean, you were texting in the group chat a couple of days ago, like, he's dead to me.
Yeah, he kind of was for a moment there.
That was hilarious.
I mean, we've all experienced that same thought process, feeling process when it comes to somebody leaving a team. Let's be honest here. I mean, there's that little banner right over your left shoulder there, Josh, of a player who's left twice. One time was a little bit more, I guess, less hateful than the first time.
Yeah.
That way.
Actually, two players on here.
Well, one player left in free agency twice. The other one forced his way through a trade. But looking at the Vikings, they got Kevin O'Connell. They got themselves a head coach.
Yeah.
Former Rams offensive coordinator. Obviously comes from the Sean McVay tree. It's just a trend that keeps happening. It's the same kind of group of guys running a very similar offense. So now we got another guy running the same offense. But Vikings offense doesn't change that much because it's not all that different than what was being run in Minnesota last season.
Yeah, so you're saying with this move that you think Kirk is going to remain in Minnesota, correct?
I think the chances that he stays there have increased because they don't have to change the offense now. Now, if it was, I still don't think he's a lock to stay there. Like if Harbaugh would have went there, that would have been locked to stay there because Jim Harbaugh's not going there for a rebuild. You know what I mean?
I agree.
We don't know what's going to happen with Kevin O'Connell, but we do know that they run the same. It's from the same school. It's from the same tree. It's the same style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the verbiage is going to be very similar. The concepts are going to be very similar. It's going to be easier to just kind of plug and play, change some of, I guess, a little bit of the nuances of what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I think it's increases the chances that Kirk Cousins stays there. I mean, who knows what the hell the Vikings are going to do? Because, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, it was complete tear down. They're going to tear it down at the studs. Then it was Jim Harbaugh rumor. Now we have Kevin O'Connell.
So I'm actually looking at a Instagram photo from JPA Photo, JPA Football, I should say, and it says the Buccaneers and Vikings are on Deshaun Watson's radar per Jeremy Fowler of ESPN.
I mean, sure, they're gonna look to upgrade because I mean we know what Kirk Cousins is. Okay, he's in that like probably third tier of quarterbacks who's good, not great, needs a lot of help around him to be successful. Okay. Yeah. He's in that tier. That's what he is. That's the reality. But if you can get somebody as good as Deshaun Watson is, keeping the legal stuff to the side, just evaluating him from a football perspective. If you can go and do that, you do it. Especially as a new coach who's going to a new place, has zero connection to Kirk Cousins whatsoever. Let's be real here. And if you get a player who's as dynamic as Deshaun Watson is a clear upgrade, who's also under contract for longer and cheaper than Kirk Cousins, that's a no-brainer.
Wow, yeah, that's a good point. How would you feel about Deshaun Watson playing in Cleveland?
Legal stuff aside, I would love it. But again, legal stuff aside.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Is there a timetable on when his legal stuff is going to be? That's the problem.
I'm not sure. I mean, you don't know when that's going to be resolved, and you don't know what the NFL is going to do either. Because even if there is no actual legal, I guess,
conviction or anything like that.
Yeah, any sort of legal ramifications, the NFL can always step in and go, hey, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
They've done it before.
Conduct detrimental to the league. I mean, they can use that for anything they want. That was the best thing that Goodell ever wrote into that language was conduct detrimental to the league. They've used that countless times to explain away anything they want to do, really.
Isn't that I'm trying to think of how to say this. The language being used to possibly remove Stephen Ross as the owner of the Dolphins.
I think that would probably be the language that they would use if that's comes to fruition. If they get to that point where there is some sort of legal process that is being done with the Dolphins, which as the days go by, it seems more and more likely that something's going to happen there.
Mm-hmm.
And that'd be a hell of a way to start your coaching career for Mike McDaniel.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Speaking of guys who run a similar offense, Mike McDaniel, Miami. Please, for the love of God, sign David Njoku. Miami, please do it. Get him out of Cleveland. That's just a side note.
I saw him on his private jet on his way in, FaceTiming with Tua. So apparently he's all in, and Tua's his guy. So
who was?
Mike McDaniel.
McDaniel? Okay.
Yeah, he was on his PJ, and he was FaceTiming with them.
I saw that same video.
Yep, Tuanon has creeped into his private jet as well.
Tuanon, I love it.
I mean, if we want, we can talk about this for a minute. Is Mike McDaniel going to really get a whole lot out of Tua? You look at what he is. He can't throw 5-yard outs. Can't throw 15-yard outs. His velocity to the sidelines is not optimal. I mean,
he's got a limp noodle for an arm.
There we go.
He does not have arm strength.
No, he doesn't.
You're kind of limited there, right? But I mean, we've seen what this offensive system can do for limited quarterbacks. Hell, I mean, it got the Browns to the playoffs last year. You know what I mean? So you can go far if you have the right guy, the right players around him. I mean, who knows what the hell Miami's going to do? Who they're going to bring in? Who they're going to sign? Who they're going to trade for? But maybe they can make it work in a way. But God help them if they're going to be running sideline routes.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Mm.
So there's a way. So,
oh my God, James and I actually agreed on something. A miracle of miracles. Yay!
So now the NFL season is coming to a close officially. I mean, the new league year starts soon. Then free agents can happen in less than a month. What are your final thoughts about this season? I mean, we got a couple quarterbacks retiring. We got coaches moving on. We got coaches stepping aside.
My final thought on the season would be this feels like the end of a generation and the start of a new one. I would say that this is not every year marks something like that, but with Brady retiring, and to me, it seems like he's
supposedly retiring.
I think he's going to stay retired. There's always going to be speculation, but Rodgers' future's still up in the air. But yeah, I mean, you see the young quarterbacks and what they're doing in this league. It feels like that next group of guys is going to be the new faces of the NFL. And so, yeah, I think the NFL took a step into a new direction this year, and it's going to be very weird watching football without Tom Brady playing. I remember as long as I can remember, he's played football, even being a young Michigan fan, 1997, he was on my radar. So it's been my entire life. So it's going to be very weird watching football without him in it.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of share the same sentiment where it feels like the changing of the guard almost, where like Roethlisberger, Brady. I know Philip Rivers retired a couple years ago, but I'll still put him in there. Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, like
Breeze.
yep. Several other guys. Like I grew up watching them. So, and now like having these younger guys just coming in and absolutely throwing the ball all over the freaking yard. It's fun to watch. Not that like the way they played quarterback wasn't fun, because it certainly was, but this new generation feels more exciting because of the way they sling the ball all over the yard and all that.
Well, I think it's cool that Matt Stafford is kind of going to be that gap, the bridge. He's going to bridge the gap between those two generations.
Agreed.
So Stafford's really the last guy who doesn't really have a whole lot of mobility in his game. You look at all these quarterbacks you just named and rattled off. They all were pretty much statues in the pocket. Sure, they would make moves every once in a while. Younger Roethlisberger, known for escapability. Brady was very aware of his fantastic pocket presence. But I mean, they were not runners. They were not mobile. They moved when they had to. Is probably the best description for these guys.
Yeah,
when necessary, they moved. But if they didn't have to, they were standing pretty much still in the pocket. And you look at these younger guys. I mean, Rodgers, I guess, is sort of a bridge as well if he's still going to be active, because he still is, mobile in a way. But
he just won MVP again, so obviously he's still good.
But you look at Burrow, you look at Mahomes, you look at Josh Allen or Russell Wilson, still Kyler Murray, Justin Herbert. They all have mobility to their game, and they're all really good at throwing the ball for the most part. You know what I mean? And so they're really good at throwing. The way the game is played is much different than it was when the other guys came into the league. It's a lot more quarterback friendly. They're incorporating a lot more college concepts than they used to. The pros used to be very rigid about that and say, no, that's college shit. We don't do that here.
Right.
So they've made it more, I guess, adaptable for the younger quarterbacks, which allowed them to play in this style. It'll be interesting to see how they progress as the years go on, when it probably won't be as wise for them to run as often as they do and make plays as their legs, to see if they become more like how Aaron Rodgers uses mobility to make plays with his arm, not with his legs.
Yeah.
I guess Josh Allen kind of trending in that direction, Mahomes as well. Some of these other guys need to, I guess, improve in their passing ability to get there first.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. And Bryan, we did talk about this on TSG a little bit, but like you just rattled off a bunch of young quarterbacks. But I feel like there's one we've kind of forgotten about over in Baltimore. Everybody's seemingly forgotten about Lamar Jackson. Like,
if we want to discuss Lamar Jackson, we can discuss Lamar Jackson. He's a very average thrower of the football.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I mean, like it or not, that's the deal here. He makes plays with his legs, and that's fantastic. He's great at it. He can make plays with his arm, but he's not consistent enough. Right. That was always the issue with him, and people would take it too far in the internet. Okay, let's be real here, and they would call him a running back. He's not a running back; he's a running quarterback. There's a difference. But the question is whether or not he could adapt to passing the ball in an improved manner. And he hasn't. He still has the same issues now that he had when he came to the league. He can't throw outside the numbers. He can't throw down the field accurately. He's fantastic at eating you up over the middle. Okay, something that the Browns have been unable to stop forever. Okay, so you're playing the Browns, just throw to the tight end over the middle, and you're going to get a first down more often than not.
Yeah, Mark Andrews had himself a year doing just that. You
know what I mean? So it's going to be, how can he improve as a thrower of the football? Okay, because he still needs to improve.
Yeah.
He's still not quite there. So it's not that he's forgotten about necessarily. It's that he was asked, and probably by coaching staff and people who cover the sport, to get better at those certain things, and he simply didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, one more thing I wanted to point out too. I kept bringing up on the show that Stafford's a guy that makes those crazy no-look passes, and he's the one that like these young quarterbacks got that from. And man, did he have one of the best no-look passes of all time, or on one of the most important drives of his career, arguably.
That was incredible.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that I kept bringing that up. I'm like, man, I know that he's going to pull off one of these plays sooner or later, and he's going to remind these young fellas that, you know, it's still his league too. So
he's been doing that for so long.
Yeah,
he's been doing that for so long. I remember when I lived in Michigan, and people would call into Detroit sports talk radio and be like, "I can't stand how he throws the different arm angles. I hate the sidearm pass. I hate the no look pass." And
now look at
everybody loves now. Everybody loves that shit now. But everybody loves it now.
What I love about Stafford too is he plays until the bitter end. Like I remember his game against the Cowboys back in 2013. Everybody thought, oh, he's just going to spike it. Nope. He jumps over everybody and gets the touchdown to win it for the Lions. Or when he had the bad shoulder against the Browns and he comes right back in and just says, I don't give a shit. And he played like a maniac.
He looked like he was going to be out for the game too on that play when he got his ankle rolled up on. Mm-hmm. That looked bad, man.
That did look bad.
Up on the sideline and he played through it. I would imagine that he wasn't feeling too great the day after.
Probably not.
So he did go out there and make a really gritty performance to win that game. So that's a good point, Josh.
So, because like I said earlier, although I was not happy that the Rams won, I was happy for Stafford, Donald, and Cooper Kupp. So I'll phrase it like that.
Cool.
I think that's good. I mean, looking at Matthew Stafford, I mean, it's very impressive for him. He's a tough dude. He's a tough dude. No one can ever take that away from him. You mentioned the play against the Browns back in the day. You mentioned him getting hurt in the Super Bowl. He's been known for having back issues the past couple of years too. He's dealt with broken bones in his back. And, not that I have broken bones in my back, but I have dealt with back issues for a long time. They suck.
They really do.
They're horrible. Every time I see a guy with a back issue who has to get surgery, I'm like, if you're a certain age, just retire.
Yeah,
just retire. I don't know what you're doing here. I mean, we're looking at Gronk and looking at JJ Watt. Kudos to them for being as good as they are in what they're doing.
Yeah,
but I've had their back surgery. It sucks.
Yeah,
no fun.
It's horrible. Then there's the one basketball player, Michael Porter Jr., who had it before he even got drafted.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, that's pretty rough coming into the league. But
Tiger Woods has had like half his back fused together by now.
It sucks.
That poor guy. I wish they'd just let him use a cart already. Like, just let them use carts.
I don't know what
we're golfing right now. That's why he golfed with his son in that tournament. And he played great. Mm-hmm. He had the highest exit velocity on tour that tournament. Like, so he's hitting the ball well. But they're forcing him to walk, because it's part of this old white dumb idea that like you're not a good golfer unless you walk the course. Like,
how about that? I love golfing in golf carts.
Yeah,
have a few beverages along the way.
Yeah.
It's great.
Just let them all drive golf carts. Let guys extend their careers. Like nobody cares about them walking anymore. Like it's. I get that they want to say it's part of the game, and you have to be in shape to make it 72 holes over a weekend. But
look at John Daly,
man.
Look at John Daly. He's smoking Drake his entire career.
Right. I mean, peak physical condition to get through that. So,
but Bryan, that's the overall problem. Not just with golf, but in a lot of sports. Like a lot of these owners and commissioners are old white dudes that like they don't care about like our generation or the younger generation. They're like, nope,
they fear change. Yeah, they're very stuck in their ways. And golf's always been a sport that lagged behind the rest of the sports by decades. Mm-hmm. I mean, you look at Augusta National and everything that's going on down there. I mean, for people of color to gain membership and then for women to gain membership. And there's still questionable, stuff going on down there with that. And it's just like, man, like the sport has just always lagged so far behind. And this seems like an easy thing that they could do that could extend a lot of guys' careers and really make the golf better because guys aren't getting to the 18th hole and, they've burned 13,000 calories, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, golf's such a ridiculous sport to begin with. I mean, remember the hotline that you can call? Like, I saw a violation, I need to call and report it because I'm on my couch. What the fuck is that? That's so stupid.
All the time. People do that all the time.
It's ridiculous.
Dude. It is ridiculous. I mean, people.
No, he touched the ball barely. Oh, he drew his club.
He grounded his club. Yeah, like all he did was ground his club, and the ball didn't move, but it's still illegal. So somebody calls it in. It's like
absolutely ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Or oh no, this person left a small divot. Like really?
That's a little different. We want you to clean up after yourselves.
Okay.
We want you to repair the course if you do damage to it, but
okay, bad example. My bad. I tried.
Why don't we talk a little bit about another sport that's just not good right now?
Baseball.
Baseball? Or the sport that doesn't exist currently?
Yeah, pitchers and catchers were supposed to report yesterday.
Mm-hmm. And the lockout's still here. 77th day.
Yay.
77 days and no end in sight.
None whatsoever. You look at how far apart the two sides are. They don't have another meeting scheduled. They're generally meeting like once every 2 weeks at best, and they're just it's basically like two sides that have no chance of actually agreeing to anything ever.
Right. And we've seen a lot of like teams release like promotional schedules and things like that, and like nobody is putting promotions in April, May at all right now. And it's like that. It's obvious that people are just accepting that, okay, this season is not going to start on time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I saw something where an agent told a player, like, see you in June. Like,
yeah, that's crazy.
Which is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, this isn't, I guess it is difficult, but it's not like that difficult of a concept to grasp. The owners need to pay their players more. It's not that hard. Okay. Right. You can't have all these teams reporting like record high revenues or whatever the hell it is, what the sport is. And then the players get jack shit. Then you look at the way the contracts are handled. The contracts are handled are completely ridiculous. Mm-hmm. How long a team can have control of a player is just so much longer than people realize.
Yeah.
And that's before they get to the majors. I mean, they'll be in the minors for like 3 to 4 years where they're making below the poverty line in terms of how much they make.
Playing minor league
at a time.
Yeah, it's not a good living playing minor league baseball at all.
No, it's not.
It's a terrible way of life for a lot of people. And I mean, that's why you hear stories every day about these minor leaguers with mental health issues and addiction issues. And, you know, this is all part of it. And for MLB to not like be taking any of those issues seriously and seemingly not willing to budge and pay minor leaguers, period, let alone pay them more. So, yeah, it feels like the two sides are worlds apart right now.
I mean, I heard a story. I don't remember which player it was, but it was a player from one of the Caribbean countries who was in the minor leagues. And the food that was supplied to him it did not agree with his body because it's not food he's used to. So like the only thing he could eat was bread. Ugh. Like you there's no accommodations for people that like this food's foreign to people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The American diet versus the diet of let's say like the Dominican Republic is worlds apart. It's entirely different. You know what I mean? And you're going to supply them like hot dogs and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Right. And
if you're lucky.
We're always, granting all of these like diet, restriction, ways to get around it and stuff like that. And, if you're vegan, we'll make sure that we have a vegan meal for you. Or, if you're a pescatarian, we'll make sure we have a fish option for you. But when it comes to other cultures, it's like, oh, well, no, we're not. Why would we, involve your culture into our food choices? Like, are you vegan? We can give you a vegan hot dog, but it's a hot dog or it's a vegan hot dog. Like, yeah, it's ridiculous. Like these, especially when 50% of the league comes from the central, Central America and South America.
It's a very, very high like Latin population of players. I mean, let's be real here. They're not giving you a vegan hot dog. You're going to get the lunch lady Doris from The Simpsons, drops out the hot dog, gives you the bun. It's rich in bubbly goodness and joy. From Lisa the Vegetarian, by the way. That's the episode that's from. But that's essentially what they're going to do. I mean, considering the story I heard, I mean, the guy just ate bread, so that was his option, the hot dog bun. I'm exaggerating with hot dog bun, maybe. I don't know. I just know it was bread.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they were, from what I've heard, they were able to agree on the universal DH rule that's now going to be a thing. But
how do you guys feel about that? How do you feel about universal DH?
I have mixed feelings about it because on one hand, it takes out the pitchers like just swinging and hitting a ground ball that's an easy out every time. But at the same time, having the pitchers hit makes strategy. Like, do I want to take my pitcher out and put a pinch hitter in, but my pitcher is pitching really well or whatever? So it's a double-edged sword for me.
Yeah, for me, the baseball purist in me I love that the pitcher is, going to come to the plate and hit. I love that. I think it adds to the game. It adds another layer to management that isn't there when you have a DH. I think it's the way that the game's supposed to be played, but I also acknowledge that there's a lot of problem because these pitchers that are hitting, like, they're not trying. Like for the longest time now, pitchers don't try anymore. There's very few pitchers in the National League who really take hitting seriously, and that's a problem. Now, if they would dedicate some time to hitting and pitchers could actually, lay a bunt down. And I mean, that used to be a thing. Like if you were a pitcher, you had to be able to know how to put a sacrifice bunt down. Like these guys now can't even do that. And it's like, so part of me is like, okay, like, yeah, it's probably good for the product to let everybody have a DH. But the purist in me is like, no, like I love that still exists in the National League.
Well, from the team perspective, from looking at it from, I guess, a different angle, would you rather have your pitcher working on bunting or taking batting practice versus, hey, go in the bullpen, go work on throwing and getting your pitches better? I mean, they're going to you're a pitcher, go focus on throwing the ball is what they're going to be looking at. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I mean, bunting and hitting, always fun when a pitcher actually gets a hit. I absolutely love when I'm playing the show and I get a hit with a pitcher because it's just like
completely unexpected.
I always expect either pop out or ground out or strike out.
Right.
I rope a double with a Jameson tie on. I'm like, awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or there was a challenge in the show from a couple years ago where I hit a home run with Bartolo Colon. And
I love that.
That was awesome. It took me days to get that done. I just had to hunt a high fastball and press the power swing and actually connect.
Oh, it's great.
And I eventually did it. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
How many home runs did he have? He had a couple.
I mean, I remember
Colon only had one.
Oh, he only had one?
He only had one.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
It was the one. It was the one in San Diego, back in like 2015.
When he was with the Mets, I think.
What'd you say, Josh?
I think he was with the Mets.
He was with the Mets. Yeah. It's you can look up the call. You can hear the commentator booth laughing because he actually hit a home run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bartolo Colon at bats are absolutely hilarious because it's just like this guy he's a free swinger and he has like no strategy. There's no form. He's just like, I'm swinging the bat.
Yeah.
And whatever happens, happens. So
I'm here.
There he is.
So looking at the overall universal DH thing, having pitchers not hit is better for the game. It's a better product. But from a strategical point of view, it takes some of it out, which is fine. I was a fan of like the proposed rule of as long as you have your starting pitcher in, you can use the DH, but once you do, you take him out, you lose the DH to try and lengthen the importance of the starting pitcher and place a little bit more, I guess, prominence on pitchers going more than 2 or 3 innings. And
I like that.
Yeah,
you know
I
what
like
mean?
that.
That's a lot more fun. I think it's a lot more. It would give us a little bit more importance on actually having good starting pitching. I mean, there's nothing worse than watching a bullpen game. It sucks. I'm sorry. It's necessary in like the game 2 of a doubleheader. I get it, but a bullpen game is terrible. It's
Brewers.
so awful.
Oh, I know. The Brewers tried to do that in their playoff run in 2018, and it ended up biting them in the butt against the Dodgers in the NLCS.
It's one thing to do it out of necessity. It's a complete different thing if you're doing it because that's the way you run things.
Exactly. I mean, like, getting back to the whole pitchers not hitting and stuff, it was fun, like when you would see Madison Bumgarner hit a home run and just see the pure excitement on his face as he's circling the bases like, hell yeah, I just hit a ball over the wall and I'm a pitcher.
It is cool. It's cool to see that, but I mean, let's be real here. How many pitchers have gotten hurt because they're batting or running the bases? I mean, it happens every year that a pitcher's hitting when they're playing.
Right. I don't disagree.
When they're hitting, they get hurt quite often because they're not trained to do that, or not training to do that, because there's more, I guess, value placed upon them as a pitcher, as a thrower of the baseball, than it is for them to be in the box swinging a bat.
Yeah. I agree with you on that one.
I agree.
So, but it doesn't seem like we're getting baseball anytime soon. I don't think the season's going to start on time.
It's not, because right now we're officially in spring training's been delayed mode, is where we're at now.
Yeah.
Do you think the whole season's gonna not have an agreement? And it'll be like half the season's cut short.
This season's more than likely going to be cut short one way or the other. We're going to have a shortened season, almost definitely.
Yeah.
I said it earlier, but I saw an agent tell a player, "See you in June."
How about if they use replacement Skaggs?
Players won't do that. Teams won't do that.
Why won't teams do that?
Because it's going to create even a larger divide between the teams and the Players Association currently. Then it would just make things that much worse. I mean, neither side is I guess, negotiating good faith. The owners are much worse in that aspect. But to bring in replacement players, that creates an irreparable divide that you can't do. They just can't do it.
Yeah, if you bring in replacement players, I think that relationship that is already strained, like you were saying, James, is just going to be completely torn apart and unrepairable.
I'm pretty sure back in the day when the proposal of replacement players was brought up back in, I want to say, 94, when the players were on strike going into the 95 season, I want to say the Orioles were completely against it. Like, they wouldn't participate with replacement players.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Like, replacement players, it's not an option at all. They can't go down that road.
No, you can't.
We talking about using stand-ins for MLB players if they
Correct.
Oh no, you can't use scabs in the MLB.
No.
I mean, let's be honest here. A sport that already has trouble gaining an audience, you're going to bring in guys of lesser ability and have them be, this is your New York Yankees, and it's a whole bunch of guys that are not as good.
Brian, would you try out?
Would I try out? Yeah, right.
I mean, let's look at it this way. How much would the Pittsburgh Pirates be with replacement Pirates players? They'd be terrible.
Mm-hmm.
James, would you try? Would you try out, James?
Oh no! Come on. We're gonna have this conversation. I mean, do we need to go to the very viral tweet that's been going on for the past day, where some guy thought that given over the entire season in the NBA, he'd be able to score 20 points once?
Oh my god!
Oh wow!
Who said that?
Some guy thought that given 82 games where he doesn't have to play defense and his team's actively giving him the ball, that he'd be able to score 20 points once in an NBA game. It's like you might score 20 points on the season if you're lucky.
Chance.
Nope. Absolutely not.
What this really brings us to is that the average person really overestimates their own athletic ability compared to professionals.
It's the Dunning-Kruger effect of athletics. It's the same thing. The same as in the world of academia. It's the Dunning-Kruger effect. As soon as you start to learn something, you assume that you're a master of it. And then the longer that you practice it and you stick with it, the more you realize the less you actually know. And
I think they got the mind. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I think the same thing is true with athletics. There's a lot of people who, we were good athletes in high school, and we see some of these guys that are our age that are still doing it, and we think, yeah, I bet I could go out there and I could do it. But the reality is the people who have been in the league know how hard it is to go through a 162-game season, 82-game season, all the challenges that come with that. And it's just such a joke to think that you could go out there and do anything against these guys because they're phenomenal athletes.
I think a lot of people have this mindset anybody could be anybody, which is true on their bad day, but that's very like 0.000 with many different decibels of 1 in there percent that they're going to win.
Yeah. I mean,
the only time I say I can do that or I could have done that is when a player fails miserably. I'm like, I could have done that.
that's true.
That's the only time I say that. And I say it just a joke and, mess around because it's kind of funny. Like,
Right. I could look at strike 3. Of course.
Yeah. I could swing wildly at a ball 3 feet in the dirt in front of the plate. I could have done that.
Of course.
Yeah.
I've said that at actually games before. People look at me like I'm an asshole. I'm like, I could completely look like a complete jerk or completely fail. I could flail at a ball out of the strike zone. And it's tongue in cheek. It's a joke. I'm not like saying I could be a Major League Baseball player. I'm like, yeah, I could strike out. Right. Yeah, I could miss an easy grounder to first base. I could misjudge a fly ball. I could do that.
Yeah,
it's everything's bad.
Yeah, I could be like one of those. I could be one of those guys where the pitcher just stands there and watches 3 straight strikes. It's like, yep, I could do that.
Yeah, I could get picked off at first. I could get caught stealing. I could do all of those things.
Yeah, all those things very well.
I mean, there have been situations like that where the pitcher literally just stands there, doesn't even take the bat off his shoulders. It's like, I can do that.
I mean,
I think that's why I'm injury with DH.
It's just like, are you going to swing? Nah.
It's usually guy on first, no outs, and the pitcher is a terrible hitter and is dealing with an injury of some sort. He just stands there and just looks at 3 pitches go by.
That's why I'm kind of stoked that pitchers aren't going to be hitting anymore. I think it's going to be good for the game. It's going to definitely make scoring go up a lot in the National League. So that's going to be exciting. I think that's what baseball needs. They need more offense, more firepower. The pitchers have gotten the better of hitters for the past couple, seasons now. So I'd like to see that start to trend in the other direction, because it's not good for the game when somebody throws a no-hitter every week.
It's not. You're right.
It's terrible for the game.
When the most exciting thing in baseball is that the other team doesn't reach base.
Not good.
It's not good for the sport. It's incredible to watch.
Yeah.
But that can't be your highlight.
Nope.
Right.
You look back to the 90s, and you look back, it's home runs. I mean, the guys were built like professional wrestlers, but that's a different story. It was all home runs. Home runs. And speaking of that, because the collective bargaining agreement officially expired, they aren't drug testing right now. So if you're one of those players on the bubble, you consider doing a quick cycle?
Yeah, 100%.
Wait, are you talking about steroids?
Yes, they're not drug testing currently.
I hope
when they come back, they're going to be looking like WWE pro wrestlers.
Some good. Because they're not testing currently. I mean, you got to be, I guess, kind of aware of how the negotiations are going. Right now, they're going very shittily.
Quite mildly.
I mean, so they're very far apart. There's probably not going to be an agreement for some time. You could probably do a quick cycle, then do all the masking shit you got to do for it, then get it all out of your system. And you could go from, contact hitter who's got, warning track power to a guy that's hitting home runs. And that could change your career. I mean, is it fair? Not necessarily, but I mean, it wasn't
the game.
It would be better for the game. It would be better for a lot of these players. I'm not saying they should, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see an uptick in home runs next year. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some guys get popped for doing too many cycles, and then there's an agreement in place, and all of a sudden,
if records are broken, that's the reason why.
I mean, records are getting broken because they're juicing the damn baseball. I mean, you look at the baseballs. I mean, we had the most home runs over a season again last year, and it's been continuously
most strikeouts too. So it's like there's
give and take.
There's a little give and take there. Yeah, like the value of a home run can't be overstated, but it's also creating a lot of bad baseball.
It's creating terrible baseball.
Launch angle and analytics and a lot of that stuff has changed people's approach at the plate in a way that's made them better and more valuable for their careers, but it's made them utterly unwatchable for the fans, because if they don't connect and hit a home run, you're usually watching them strike out 3 or 4 times a game, which is ridiculous.
Right.
And that's bad for the game too. So there's a lot of issues with baseball right now, on the field in general, and add all of this stuff off the field and not even be able to get an agreement in sight. It's just like things aren't good for baseball right now.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
Yeah, I would say of the big three between football, basketball, and baseball, baseball is the most disconnected sport. I don't want to say from society, but I guess it.
Pop culture wise, yeah.
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 And it just sucks because I may not be as much of a baseball purist as you two are, but I still enjoy the game. I mean, I enjoy going to the games still.
You two have no idea what it was like when McGuire and Sosa were on that home run. I mean, you guys have no idea what baseball was like in America at that time. It was
the sport.
Yeah.
Barry Bonds.
It was incredible.
Barry Bonds. It was
incredible.
It was the sport.
Yep.
You get all the Sports Illustrated covers. There's one with Sosa and McGuire. They're in togas and they're just looking like Greek gods.
Every sports center was they started and ended with home runs. They started and ended with the home run race. So yeah, you could say all you want about steroids and maybe people breaking records because of it or what have you, but the game has never been more popular than it was during that time.
Yeah. That's the problem with this whole thing is like, I hate to say it but for me, steroids cloud that era and make it, I don't want to say, I don't know.
It's my fondest memories of baseball, honestly. Like that era, those guys of that era, that's what I get nostalgic about, man. Those are the times in baseball that I'm nostalgic about. So I get people have problems with records being broken and, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
I mean, I have so many fond memories of just turning on ESPN and seeing Sammy Sosa club a home run, do his little heel click thing as he runs around the bases.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite moments every time turning on SportsCenter is just seeing Sammy Sosa clobber a home run.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And what sucks about this whole thing is like, my feelings about like the steroids and all that. I think I've made that like perfectly clear. Mm-hmm. But it's like at the same time, it sucks because you love watching like what you guys were talking about, like the home run race between McGuire and Sammy Sosa. Like I didn't get to watch it like you guys did, but I saw like the 30 for 30 special about it. I've seen like various highlights and stuff. So I fully appreciate it. Obviously not the same way you guys do, but still. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I get it. So it's so hard for me because I feel like I'm more in the camp of like, you cheated, you did steroids. So like, whatever records you have aren't valid, but at the same time, it's like it makes the game more exciting at the same time. So it's really hard for me.
I mean, like it or not, they saved the sport. Okay, they really did. Okay, and we talked about this when the baseball Hall thing came out, and I don't want to like dive back into that conversation, but you still have to make contact with the ball. Okay, yeah. You can be the biggest jack freak of all time, but if you can't make contact, nobody cares. Okay?
Right.
And let's not forget Barry Bonds was the highest paid player in the league before he started juicing.
Mm-hmm.
Like the early 90s, he was already so like there were guys that were that good. They were Hall of Fame talent before they ever started juicing. So
right.
And if you want to add a little blurb on there for guys who have confirmed being the key word here.
True.
Confirmed. PED violations, go nuts. Okay, if you want to create just a certain section of the Hall of Fame dedicated to those players, go nuts. But they saved the damn sport.
They did.
You think steroids itself should be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame?
Just steroids?
Yeah.
Just have a plaque with a needle?
Yeah. Balco inducted.
No, but no, but I agree, James. Like, it's so hard to tell the story of baseball without including Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa. The story feels incomplete. So that's So that's why I say, like, even though, again, like, I would say I'm more in the camp of they cheat, keep them out. It's like the story feels incomplete. So I'm torn on the issue.
I mean, I just remember back in the day seeing Barry Bonds clobber home runs into the bay, and they're seeing a whole bunch of guys in kayaks, canoes, and rowboats trying to get the ball.
Okay.
I love that.
Like, nobody does it anymore, but it was really cool back in the day just seeing like 100 people just all crowded in the right field section of the bay.
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
Let me throw this out there. Imagine Mike Trout's career on juice.
I mean, there's
that guy and how good he is and how good he's been for the entirety of his career. If he was on steroids from day one, holy shit, his numbers would be insane.
They would be insane. And to be clear, there is something that he does take that other players can't take because of a medical condition.
Oh.
In case you were not aware, but it's not like
therapy or something like that.
I'm not sure what it is.
A lot of people have.
I don't remember exactly what it is, but I do know he does take something for a medical condition of sorts. But it's not like going to give him some massive uptick or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. His head hasn't ballooned 3 times its size or anything like that either. So
right. I feel so bad for Mike Trout though, because like he's one of the greatest players, right? One of the greatest players in MLB history at this point, I would say. And like he hasn't been to the World Series. The Angels really haven't been that good. And so it's like he's stuck. It's like I feel like we can't fully appreciate his greatness because the Angels are always like this middle of the road team that, like I said, doesn't go to the World Series, doesn't tend to go to the playoffs, or when they do go to the playoffs, they don't do very well. So
I mean, it happens. I mean, you got to look at the way the team's built. I mean, they do have Ohtani now, so that's great. But, I mean, let's be real here. A couple years ago when they spent on Anthony Rendon, everyone knew that wasn't going to work out to what they thought it was going to be. Anthony Rendon was coming off of an incredible season for the Nationals. He had a career year, and, like, he wasn't going to get, like, better than that. You know what I mean? And you look at the way that they addressed pitching, or I guess lack of addresses that they made to pitching, it hasn't been very good. I mean, they signed Noah Syndergaard in the offseason, which, by the way, everyone forgot that happened. Okay. Yeah. Until just right now.
Until you just said it.
Yeah, but he's had his own set of injury issues, and he hasn't been the player that everyone thought he was going to be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a long way from, the Thor that he was in Queens for the 2015 playoff run.
He was insane that year.
He really was.
So the Angels are they get in their own way more often than not. They signed Pujols to that contract. That was always going to age terribly.
Same with the Josh Hamilton contract.
Exactly. You just mentioned another one. Josh Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
Albert Pujols. They do it to themselves. Like you make terrible decisions, it's going to bite you in the ass.
And for the longest time, only 4 teams on each side were getting into the postseason. So like when we look at people's history and legacy in baseball, we don't look at it like we do with other sports. We don't count World Series rings like we do for quarterbacks, with Super Bowls. We just don't, So like it's harder than other sports for one player to take his team to the next level. So you're always going to have guys like Trout that if they're going to be, a loyal guy and they want to stay with one team for their entire career, they might have to deal with 20 years of misery because that's just how baseball works.
Yeah.
So, it's another one of the problems with the game is like very few teams make it, and a lot of people, we complain when guys chase rings and go to a place like the Yankees or the Dodgers. But, I mean, look at how we're talking about Mike Trout because he hasn't been there. I'm sure it's crossed his mind too.
Exactly. Like, I'll just bring hockey in for 1 second. And Bryan, you'll appreciate it. It's like Connor McDavid with the Edmonton Oilers. Like, I feel like he's in a similar situation where the Oilers either miss the playoffs or they get in the playoffs and can't do anything. So it's like we know how great Connor McDavid is, but you can't fully appreciate his greatness because the team around him just can't seem to get their shit together.
Yeah, I mean, at least they're playing hockey.
At least they're playing their sport.
Yeah, last time I checked, baseball's not playing any games today.
No, and probably none for the rest of this month. None for March. Probably none in April or May either.
Mm-mm.
But you get my overall concept.
Yeah, we get what you're saying. I mean, that happens all the time, though. I mean, look at two of the greatest Cubs in history. Ryan Sandberg and Ernie Banks. I mean, they're legends in Chicago. They didn't win shit.
Never. Yeah.
So it happens all the time. You see teams go for very long stretches of having a great player on their team, and they don't win anything.
Yeah.
I mean, let's look at the Mets. David Wright. David Wright went to a World Series, and then he got spinal stenosis, and his career was over.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
Even guys like A-Rod for the longest time, a lot of their career they weren't really winning shit. So.
Yeah.
Ken Griffey Jr. That's another one.
Yeah, his entire career,
my all-time favorite player.
He's up there for me. I don't know if he's my all-time favorite, but he's up there.
Yeah. I'm still shocked by how surprised you were when I said LaDainian Tomlinson was my favorite player of all time in the NFL.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that either.
Why?
Kurt Warner was mine.
Kurt Warner's yours?
He was, yeah.
He was yours. Okay.
Who's your favorite current?
Currently, Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett. Okay.
Solid choice.
Yeah. Hey, is Myles Garrett better than Aaron Donald?
No.
Yes.
No.
I had to, guys. I had to.
You had to.
I knew he was going to say yes, so I had to ask it.
Fair point.
I don't care how logical my opinion is. I still stand by it.
Well, at least you stand by it.
Wait,
Myles
Bryan.
Garrett's a fantastic player, but Aaron Donald is in the conversation for greatest players of all time.
Yeah, definitely.
Wait, Bryan, why were you so surprised when I said that LaDainian Tomlinson was my favorite player of all time?
I just didn't expect someone that cool.
Who are you expecting, Bryan? Were you expecting Tiki Barber?
No, I was thinking like a John Kitna or somebody.
John Kitna, wow.
Throwback.
Or Andy Dalton, maybe.
There we go, a Bengal. Another Bengal. They're both Bengals.
How about Chad Pennington?
Yeah, I could see that too.
Let's throw some more Bengals out there.
Jake Delhomme. I could see Jake Delhomme being your all-time favorite.
Did you guys already talk about the Super Bowl already?
Yes.
I'm
We
getting
did an hour and a half ago almost.
What you got on it?
But Churk, we'll let you take the floor for 5 to 10 minutes or so if you want to talk about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Super Bowl was. I thought it was weird seeing some of my in that halftime show, seeing how old some of those people are. I grew up on a lot of that music.
Yeah. Any thoughts on the game?
The game was Chris Collinsworth commentary made me. It was so annoying. Chris Collinsworth's commentary.
What
about his
commentary?
Like?
Because I think
he just was sucking up to the Bengals the whole time.
Well, he
I could tell.
He played for the Bengals.
I just didn't want him to. It just hearing him talk. It just was annoying throughout that game. It just it made it even better when the Rams won.
He's not a good commentator. Okay, let's get that out of the way first.
Thank you.
Okay,
thank you.
He's not. He's one of my least favorite. Him and Tony Romo are two of my least favorite commentators.
Yeah, I like Tony Romo.
Tony Romo's terrible. Okay, and I'm glad I was early on the Tony Romo's terrible train because everyone seems to be coming around to it now. Everyone thought it was real cute the first time. Then, time has not been kind to him. Okay?
No, not at all.
No, everyone's getting tired of Tony Romo.
Yeah.
And but looking at Collinsworth, I mean, I don't particularly care for Collinsworth. I've never thought he was particularly good. The best thing he does is the little slide, and after that, it's all downhill. But
didn't he invent Pro Football Focus?
No, he's a majority shareholder of Pro Football Focus. He didn't invent it. But that's the only reason it's on the Sunday Night Football broadcast is because he's a majority shareholder, and he moved their operations to Kentucky. or Cincinnati. He lives in Kentucky. So they're based out of Cincinnati now. Okay.
Can we just acknowledge that Cincinnati's part of Kentucky? It's not Ohio. It's Cincinnati, Kentucky.
Okay.
It is Kentucky. Thank you.
Glad we're all on the same page there.
Yeah,
But-
I would agree.
I mean, my only real gripe from Collinsworth's broadcast, it's different than everyone else in Northeast Ohio's, and that's the fact that they weren't acknowledging Evan McPherson's leg and how far he can kick the football towards the end of the game. Like, this is a situation where his leg was going to come into play potentially.
Yeah.
They didn't mention it once. They didn't mention how far he kicked the ball in warmups, how far he's going to be able to make a field goal today. Didn't mention it once.
I mean, he's been a key player the whole postseason.
He was their player for the entire postseason.
He was their entire offense almost.
Look, I think the Bengals are probably not going to be going to the Super Bowl in a long, long time after that.
You're probably right. I mean, certain things had to fall into their lap, but certain things had to go a certain way. So,
I mean, if they won, I still don't think they would go back to the Super Bowl for a while.
and I'm with you there. I mean, we're looking at repeatability of what happened for them this year. It's a very low percentage of repeatability.
Shit,
Yeah,
look at Aaron
they
Rodgers.
I think also the Rams too. I don't know if they're going to repeat it
I
either.
think they're a better situation to repeat, but there's a lot of things that they have to deal with. Robert Woods and his injury and how he comes back. Odell Beckham's injury and whether or not he resigns there. How the whole Matthew Stafford situation is all, I guess, unfolds and the way they handle that as well. Whether or not Aaron Donald decides to retire. Same for Sean McVay if he decides he wants to retire and to go to broadcasting. There are a lot of moving parts where things could just kind of unravel, for them.
I agree.
At the same time,
what are your
everything
thoughts?
can go back into place. They can run it back and be like, yeah, we're the Rams. We're going to go for it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what are your thoughts about the Rams? I think they could repeat, but I agree with you, James. I don't think it's likely. I do think.
Maybe it's likely.
How did you guys think of
It's
field?
one of the hardest things to do in sports is repeat Super Bowl champions, So
It is.
How did you feel about the halftime show?
Oh, we love the halftime show.
we all love the halftime
Yeah.
show.
Did you like Dr. Dre playing the piano of his song? That part.
Playing the piano, yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, playing the piano.
Yeah.
Running the
He was like-
soundboard, running the mixer.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. From what I heard, there was a lot of stuff in that halftime show they weren't supposed to do, but did anyway. So that made it better.
They did a whole bunch of things that they weren't supposed to do. Eminem wasn't supposed to take a knee during it. Snoop Dogg wanted to wear a blue bandana. They told him no, so he wore an outfit that was a blue bandana.
The whole
Yeah.
outfit.
It's the total just like, we're going to do what we want because we can. And it was fun.
Andy C walked on TV.
What was that?
He C walked on TV too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not
Oh yeah,
saying
you T-walked?
Yeah.
So that was great. That was awesome. I mean, that's kind of what you expect out of them. They're just like, we're going to do this. No, we're going to do it anyway.
Yep. Like,
Yeah, I
you
love
tell
that.
me no, guess what? I'm still going to do it anyway.
Mm-hmm. Everybody making a big deal about Snoop smoking a joint before he went on stage.
That
too.
was-
Like,
That was
That's what he does.
right.
That's what he does.
I'm
And I
surprised
would-
he didn't smoke during the halftime show.
I know.
Let's be
Me
real here.
too.
And
There was
I
a
would not be
drop
surprised
back
if all the people that performed with him also took part with him.
I mean, the likelihood's probably pretty high for most of them.
Yeah.
I don't think Eminem
Pun
partaked in
intended.
that anymore, but I could be wrong.
Pun intended on that.
Yeah, I got you. But I don't think Eminem partakes in that anymore. I could be wrong.
I think he's 10 years clean and sober, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Who's clean and sober? Oh, Eminem. Yeah, Eminem.
But everyone else could have.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I thought it was a really good halftime show. I was very entertained by it. I had I think I had all the CDs of the songs that were played except for 50 Cent songs. Was never really a big 50 Cent guy, but everything else was fantastic.
Yeah. How did you moving on from the Super Bowl? How do you guys feel about this All-Star game and Jared Allen now being announced?
Who cares? It's an all-star game.
I mean,
Do you think they did that on purpose?
They chose 3 other people before they got to Jared Allen. So
yeah.
think about that.
Yeah.
Would you compare him to Jamal McGlure when he went in?
Jared Allen's a better player than Jamal McClure was. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Jared Allen being an all-star, it's just an all-star game. It's just I get excited for like the festivities and stuff. Like I like the dunk contest every once in a while will be good.
I'll watch that. I'll watch the 3-point contest. I'm not watching the game.
Yeah, but the game always sucks. I usually tune out by Sunday. Friday I'll watch the celebrity thing. That's usually fun, but
I thought the game was pretty good when they did it in 2020, like right before the pandemic happened. That was one of the best All-Star games in a while.
I don't remember anything about it.
Oh, the one in Chicago you're talking about.
Yes.
Don't they have some new scoring rule where if you get to a certain amount of points, the game's over?
Yeah,
I like that. I like that game. That was one of the best All-Star games in a while.
I hate All-Star games. I think they're terrible. The players don't try. It's just, hey, we're gonna go fuck around on the court or the field or whatever sport we're playing, and it's a joke. I hate it. It's terrible.
Which one?
I like what Cleveland did for this All-Star game, though, to make it unique. They had the skills competition. They split it up into 3 teams, and they have Team Atenakumbo, which is all family members of Giannis.
Yeah.
And then they have Team Cavs because it's in Cleveland, which is obviously awesome. And then they have another team of people.
I think it's Team Rookie Team.
Yeah. So I thought like that stuff's fun. I mean, I watched that. I think that's cool. But like
that's the only parts of All-Star festivities that are fun. It's home run derby, it's slam dunk contest, it's fastest shot for hockey, and then like
celebrities, whatever celebrity event they have.
Because you see some guys like they have a little bit of skill, but basically make fools of themselves.
Right.
Like, is MGK going to be playing in the celebrity game? Okay.
Better not.
I hope he gets dunked on.
I mean,
I'd rather have Bone Thugs.
I think they're playing.
Huh?
They might throw out their back or
yeah, I think they're a little too old to be out there by now.
Yeah.
I mean, Daniel Gibson and Anderson Varejao are going to be part of it.
But they're at least 4
Really?
years.
I have not heard Booby Gibson's name in forever.
I wonder what the over/under is on how many shots he takes.
Booby Gibson? I think he's just going to jack up threes the entire time.
I'm thinking the same thing. I think he's going to just shoot.
They're going to have the audio for when he made threes back in the day queued up in case he makes one. And if he makes one, everyone's going to go nuts.
Yeah. You think also, too, speaking of the All-Star game, you think I'll be working it actually doing security, so I'm excited.
Nice. So if I storm the court, are you
my
going to be the one
form.
that has to tackle me?
Huh?
If I storm the court, are you going to be the one that has to tackle me?
I probably will.
Oh, I like those odds.
Sorry. I'm sorry, Brian.
I wasn't planning on doing it, but now.
All right.
We'll have an Oklahoma.
I would have to do my job. We would still be cool afterwards. We would still be doing the podcast, but I would still have to do my job, Brian.
Oh man, I appreciate that though. Mad respect for that, man. You're a good employee. Wherever you're doing security for, they've got it done.
It's not personal.
I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
Well, you want to stay on basketball or you want to finish up the little baseball stuff we got?
We could talk about the baseball. We got some heavy baseball stuff if you want to get into it.
Yeah, going back to the Angels.
Yeah, the wrongful death trial for Tyler Skaggs, former Angel pitcher, is currently happening. Yesterday, it was Matt Harvey, CJ Crone, and Cam Bedrosian, all former Angels, who took the stand. And we're talking about former Angels employee Eric Kay, and I guess what he was supplying the players with. Not a whole lot of good things came out of this for not just the Angels or not just this Eric Kay person, but I mean the Mets also caught some crossfire in this as well. Because Matt Harvey admitted to using cocaine even back while he was in New York, and he was a known partier. And there was that tweet that went semi-viral that I sent you, Brian, earlier today about a guy saying that he thought that Matt Harvey was on cocaine back in 2018. That was why he wasn't playing as well. and I guess that aged poorly because they were taking a shot at the guy saying it that, but it turns out that Matt Harvey was using cocaine and was using it well with the Mets and with the Angels, and I don't know what his current drug habits are at this moment, but I hope he is clean because that's not necessarily a good drug to be addicted to. Also expensive. So continuing with Harvey, he would share Percocet with Tyler Skaggs. Skaggs would obtain pills from Kay and an apparent unnamed source in Santa Monica. No one does apparently know who this other guy in Santa Monica is. Harvey also said he got Percocet from an unnamed hockey player. He did not want to incriminate that hockey player. But I found that to be interesting.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be hunted down. I understand.
I mean, all these guys, I think, have immunity from everything that they're saying here from, I guess, the legal perspective. But I think Major League Baseball could step in and do whatever the hell they want. But they have their own set of problems they're dealing with currently. CJ Cron said he also got pills from Eric Kay as well. He said maybe 8 times. Cam Berjosian also said he got pills from Kay. Harvey said that he had a pill that he got from Kay that he got like the day before Tyler Skaggs died. And when he found out that Skaggs died, he immediately threw it away.
I wish he would have saved it. I wish he would have saved it for testing.
Yeah, you look at it now because it could have been that. But I think the main, I guess, conclusion they're coming to is it's a mix of a couple of these drugs and alcohol, which resulted in this, which has resulted in Skaggs' death.
Yeah, if there was even a little bit of fentanyl in that pill, it's enough, especially if you're drinking, because your respiratory system is already slowing down from the alcohol. And then to have a little bit of, even just a tiny bit of fentanyl, that's a death sentence.
Yeah. That's the general conclusion we've come to. There's more stuff still coming out about it as the trials continue to go on. I don't think Eric Kay is going to be taking the stand, which is kind of interesting, considering the nature of this, and he's the common link in all of this for the most part. But not a good look for the Angels. Not a good look for Major League Baseball. Not a good look for, I guess, 2 teams and one individual has his own set of, I guess, other unrelated issues. And, it sucks. This really sucks. And this is a really unfortunate thing to happen to Skaggs. And you see these players here, and they all obtained Percocet and various other stuff. And it's like, it's happening there. It's happening everywhere. I'm going to tell you that
right. I was about to say, yeah.
I
was waiting for my chance to speak. I was going to say that, if this is how it happened there, it's happening in other places too. The only reason we haven't heard about it yet is because nobody's died yet. But there are going to be more deaths. Unfortunately, with the fentanyl situation in this country, it's terrible. It's out of control. A lot of people are going to die who had no intention of even taking a pain pill. It wasn't, they didn't even think they were taking a painkiller. Look at Harvey with his cocaine use. He could be thinking he's doing cocaine and just a tiny bit of fentanyl, and that's a death sentence. So
is it possible? Is it possible this epidemic could have been around for a long time and nobody knew?
Until something happened. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, that's my theory.
Yeah, I think that the Skaggs, this whole death trial has just shined a light on a dark part of the sport that probably happens in more places than just baseball. But like anytime you've got access, like easy access to very addictive pills, like that's not good for anybody, especially if you're somebody who has a genetic history of addiction in your family, or, you have some kind of predisposition that makes you more vulnerable. It's just a really ugly, bad situation. And I think that we're going to unfortunately probably hear a lot more stories like this one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you think about, we've heard about stories like in other sports, football, notorious for overuse of Toradol. Okay. And that's before you even get into anything like hard. Okay.
Right,
what I mean? And so you're going to hear a lot more of stuff like this, probably from other sports as well. Once, I guess, certain provisions have been made for people to speak, or statute of limitations, all that other crap expires and stuff like that. So you consider that. You consider that there's probably other players stepping forward sooner rather than later, especially after these latest revelations from former teammates of Skaggs. Whether the people saying stuff about Skaggs or people saying stuff about the Angels or other organizations.
Right. Yeah.
Do you think this?
Yeah, I think that this has more layers to it that are yet to be revealed, probably.
Yeah. Do you think this trial could potentially result in the Angels getting sold to another ownership group?
No, I'm not going to say that. Because I think the nature of this guy's position in the organization, the fact that he was also helping these other players while they were no longer with the Angels as well, I don't think it's going to result in that. This is much different than other things that we've seen with employees, and
they have a convenient scapegoat here.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it is. It's all falling on this Eric K guy, and it sounds somewhat reasonable, to be honest. For what I've seen, Skaggs has been dealing with issues of some sort, or was dealing with issues of some sort dating back to 2013, I believe is what I saw. So it wasn't like this was like a one season new thing and it just kind of happened. This was a repeatable habit or a repeatable, set of actions that he was taking. So it's different than if like this was the general manager or the president of baseball operations or the owner doing this. This is just like some low level employee that was doing this.
Yeah, that's true.
They got lucky.
Yeah. So you think it's only going to be like this guy that gets hit with consequences? You don't think the Angels as an organization are going to get hit with any type of? Obviously, they won't get hit with the same type of penalties the Astros did, but no penalties at all for the Angels organization?
I don't think they're going to get anything.
Maybe a civil suit down the road. Like maybe the family might try to get something from the organization for liability.
Like in our wrongful death.
Yeah, nothing criminal.
Like the one famous case from the 90s where the individual was found not guilty, but the civil trial he was found guilty. Not to name names. But you all, yep, there we go. But I think that's ultimately what will probably happen is something like that. But I don't see the Angels getting the hits with any sort of penalty from the league or anything like that, having legal ramifications from this. I think it's mostly going to be centered on this Eric K. And I think the fact that there have been multiple other individuals resulting in names that's just unnamed, I think that says quite a lot. Yeah. I do believe the Santa Monica guy's more unknown than unnamed, but the hockey player being unnamed, I think, and staying unnamed currently is a big revealing factor in how this is all going to sort itself out. Any other comments from you guys on this?
Not really.
No, I just think with that being said, we should probably comment a little bit about the Cavs before they head into this All-Star break.
Yeah.
This All-Star break, I should say.
Yeah, they have not looked good the last two games. They've limped in to the All-Star break. The break's coming at the perfect time for them. Let's be real here.
100%.
Darius Garland dealing with his back issues and still without Lowry Markkanen, trying to incorporate Karis LeVert into the mix.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's having this little break now, having this time to get a little bit healthy, to get whatever practice or run through or whatever they're doing with LeVert in the meantime, be able to recalibrate their rotations and whatever their starting lineup's going to be. I think this is the perfect time for it, but they looked really bad the last two games.
They're getting destroyed in the first quarter right out of the gate too. Like we've given up over 30 points in the first quarter for like how many games in a row now? Like it's really bad. Like you don't want to start your game that way.
Yeah.
And that's eventually going to catch up to you, and it has.
Yeah, I've seen this from the Cavs, and I totally agree with you, Brian. I couldn't agree more if I tried. Because the evidence, the video speaks for itself, where like you watch the game and it's like, why are you guys coming out so slow against Atlanta is a good team, Philadelphia is a good team, but like against an inferior opponent, for example, like Indiana or an inferior opponent like San Antonio, like you're letting these teams hang around, and it's like put them away early. Like you want to show that you are a legit top 6 team that can actually do some type of damage in the playoffs. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say they're going to make it to the conference finals or the NBA finals. I'm not that ridiculous. I know my limits. I know my limits. Trust me. But like you can't do that still. It's like show why you are where you are in the standings. Because right now, I don't fully see it. Like you can't do that in the playoffs.
You're right. They can't do that, and they're going to come up on a very tough month. Let's just be honest here. I was going to say stretch, but a very tough month in March.
Oh
They
yeah,
play a lot of good teams. They play a lot of playoff teams. Okay, and where they fall in the standings is ultimately going to be determined by the month of March. This is when you
100%.
start paying attention to where the teams are in the standings and where seeding wise potential matchups is towards the middle to end of March. Because you're going to have a good idea of who they're playing. The only bad teams that they play in March are the Pacers and the Pistons. In one game against Orlando.
It's going to be a tough month, and it's going to be the teams. We're going to be getting a better effort, too, because the level of play in March is obviously a lot higher than it is pre-All-Star break.
Because it's go time. It's go time now. It's time to get ramped up for the playoffs. It's time to get right if you're a team that hasn't been right. It's a team to surge and get ready to get everything firing on all cylinders for the playoffs. So
this is you're going to get who the Cavs are. You're
going to get every team's best shot. We might have gotten a couple really good shots from their last 2 opponents in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, maybe I got a little overhyped on them a little early. I will admit that, but I brought that level down a little bit. I think you guys can agree on that. I've tempered my excitement, but I still like where we're at and how we're playing overall, despite these last 2 games. But
yeah, I think everybody's happy with where they're at this point of the season, comparatively to where we thought they might be by All-Star break.
Yeah, that's 100% agreed.
Yeah.
They've already won more games this year than I thought they were going to win all season. So, I'm happy to have been wrong about this team, but I also think that like these last 2 games are indicative of the way that things might start to look for the rest of the year, because we're going to start getting a better level of competition, and teams are going to start to separate themselves from the pack. So
right, like do I think we're at the level of a Miami, a Milwaukee, Brooklyn? Absolutely not. No. I acknowledge that. If we end up in the top 6, and that's a big if, because as you said, James, we have a very difficult month of March with basically all playoff teams. I think we'll probably finish in the bottom half of that, like in the 4 to 6 range. I'm not expecting us to stay top 3. Because, again, you're going to have Miami's going to be up there, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Brooklyn. So I acknowledge that.
I look at it this way. We're going to get the Sixers with James Harden 3 times. Okay. Ooh. We're going to see the Nets with Ben Simmons for the first time this season. Okay. We're going to see whatever version of the Lakers is going to be there, whether they get their shit together or not. Those are not going to be easy games at all. James Harden's going to shoot like 70 free throws in those 3 games.
At least.
Yeah.
And Churk's boy Ben Simmons is actually going to be playing games when we play the Nets.
Finally.
Yeah.
Which I think that's going to be a very, very tough task. A very difficult situation for all 4 of those games. The 3 against Philly, the 1 against the Nets.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be tough. We're going to find out who this Cavs team actually is.
Agree. 100%.
So, we got about 10 minutes left. We didn't have a show last week, but trade deadline in the NBA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we got 10 minutes left. We can just talk about this. How's that sound?
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Winners of the trade deadline. Who's your winner?
I'm good. I feel like the obvious answer is Brooklyn, but I'm going to actually say Boston.
Okay. Why do you say Boston?
I like their pickups of Daniel Tice. Once he does get healthy, he gives them an extra big body coming off the bench. I like.
Wait, Daniel Tice back in Boston?
Yeah. He was the one they traded Dennis Schroeder to Houston for, essentially. I liked the guy they picked up from San Antonio. I think he gives them some extra guard depth to replace Schroeder. And we've seen how well the Celtics are playing recently, so I don't think you can just sleep on them and exclude them from possibly getting to the top 6. So for me, that's why I would say the Celtics.
I think it's the Nets and Sixers both. I think they both made moves that they needed to make organizationally. They're both kind of in that range of teams that they have elite players. You know that they should be competing for a title, but they've kind of been on the hump and yet to kind of get over it. And I feel like that move's going to get both of those teams to kind of over that hump and to the next level. And we're going to start seeing who those teams really are here in the second half of the season. So, for me, boring answer, but I think it's those two teams.
Now,
Churk, who's your winner and why is it the Cavs?
No, I was about to actually say a different team. I think the Pelicans getting CJ McCollum.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Is Zion ever going to play again?
Who knows?
Man.
What's he weighing these days?
Who's heavier, him or 50 Cent?
Oh.
Am I wrong?
I would have.
No, you're not wrong.
50 Cent. You think he gained a lot of pounds? 50 Cent.
People will call him 250 and 350 on the internet. Okay.
How much do you think he realistically probably weighs?
He
I think
probably
it's a
weighs.
big food.
He probably weighs like 250. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Not the joke.
250.
He's a big dude. He's got muscles, but he was looking a little thick on top of those muscles. To be
A
honest.
little fluffier than usual.
You look at his neck and jawline area, and that was not as defined as it used to be.
Yeah, he was looking more like Gucci before prison.
But the Pelicans.
Hey, the guy's in his 50s, so.
But the Pelicans get McCollum from the Trailblazers. The Blazers are obviously a team looking to kind of do something different, shake things up. They were always an interesting combination, Lillard and McCollum. And they were, I guess, the prototype. A lot of people thought the Cavs were going after with Garland and Sexton. And let's be honest, the better version of what they were trying to do didn't work. The B version isn't going to work with Garland and Sexton, to be honest with you.
No.
Yeah.
But, the Pelicans get McCollum. He's a good player. Whenever Zion comes back, awesome. Whenever the Pelicans end up doing with McCollum, we'll see what happens. We'll see how they do things. The Pelicans have to operate in a different manner than a lot of other teams.
Yeah,
They're a team that has to trade for their players or draft their players because they're not going to be able to sign anyone of note. Who's like their biggest free agent signing? I can't remember anyone notable.
No, I can't either.
James Posey after he was with the Celtics. Is that it?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense either because New Orleans is sweet. I love New Orleans.
Orleans is a very cool place, but I don't think it has just that allure of a place like New York or Boston or LA or
Right. You're right.
Chicago.
So Chicago's another one that has a certain,
especially post Katrina with New Orleans. You know what you're walking into if you live there.
Yeah.
So
I mean, shit, that Six Flags is still abandoned down there.
Yeah, it's crazy. You could be there one year and gone the next.
So New Orleans, interesting pick. I can see why you picked it. I'm just going to go straight up Philly. Okay. You went Philly and Brooklyn. I'm just going straight up Philly because they had Ben Simmons on their roster not playing. Now they have James Harden who will play.
Boom.
They literally gained a superstar player.
Yeah.
And they essentially gave up one who was not going to play for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem with that trade is they also had to give up Seth Curry and Andre Drummond, who the Nets are going to use them extremely well.
And that's fine. It's fine, honestly. The Drummond Embiid dynamic was never going to work for them. Okay,
Never.
It wasn't going to work for them. Seth Curry's fine, but if I would rather have James Harden than Seth Curry and Ben Simmons, for being honest.
Me too.
Yeah.
Even the draft picks they had to do to get him. I mean, because you look at Philly, you look at what their window's supposed to be. It's supposed to be now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So future draft picks do them no good.
Nope.
Seth Curry, who's a fine scorer, okay? Fine scorer. You're not going to hold on to a fine scorer if you can get someone like James Harden.
Yeah.
You're not going to hold on to Andre Drummond, who's a floor raiser. You're not looking for a floor raiser. You're not looking for a ceiling raiser. Ceiling raiser is James Harden.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. So, I mean, I'd rather have James Harden than the combination of Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, and Andre Drummond in draft picks.
Yeah. I got it.
They're trying to win now. They've been trying to win now. They've been doing this process bullshit for how long? Okay.
A long time now.
A very long time. A lot of people say trust the process, complete the process, whatever. Well, your process has been shit. Okay.
Yeah, your
I
process
didn't change up the process.
took way too long.
It did take
Yeah,
way
it
too
took
long.
so long.
And it all fell apart on them. Look at who they drafted. Look what they have left. They have one player left. That's Joel Embiid.
That's it.
Very good player, but look at everyone else they've drafted or brought into their organization that is gone now. Ben Simmons, gone. Markelle Fultz, gone. Jaleel Okafor, gone.
It's crazy.
How about who's the OG? What about
the
good old Tony Roten? Remember him?
Who?
Who?
James remembers him.
Of
He's
course.
the only one who remembers.
Who?
Tony Roten, Hollis Thompson. Who else is on? Robert Covington.
What are we
Nobody
doing?
of significance is essentially who these guys are. Okay, Rocco might be the only one who has any sort of cachet when it talks about talking about NBA players. Okay,
Yes. He just got traded to the Clippers.
yeah, and he unlike George Costanza thinking the name 7 has cachet out to Yin Yang. Rocco does not have any cachet out to Yin Yang.
I
Okay,
have to agree with you there.
to be honest with you, but I mean, it's put up or shut up time for the Sixers. You know what I mean? It's enough with the process bullshit. Go out and win something. The process should be winning. I don't give a shit. You look at people and they're like, I saw someone try to claim the discussion of the process of how things going and looking at what ends up and being like, oh, you're resulting. It's about the process. Fuck that. You're trying to get to the result. The result's supposed to be winning. It's supposed to be a good team.
It's
Right.
supposed to be.
Fuck
And
the process if the result doesn't result in winning. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Agree.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can't disagree with that one. I'm just not sure how the Harden Embiid dynamic is going to work because Harden doesn't really like to pass it. He is a dribble first guy, and Embiid is he's only effective with the ball in his hand. So
That's true, but what they're going to get now is a hell of a lot more spacing on the floor. Okay.
Yeah, a lot more spacing.
A lot more spacing because even if Ben Simmons was still on the team, even though he wasn't,
He ain't hitting the
doesn't
deep
shoot.
shot. Right.
He clogs up the lane. That's the only. You look at where his shots are. Like 80% of his shots were inside 10 to 15 feet. I think that doesn't help. That clogs up the lane. You need spacing. Harden provides spacing. That'll help.
yeah,
Even when Jimmy Butler was there, he provided some spacing. Okay. They needed spacing. They got spacing.
that's true.
Well, boys,
I think about wraps it up here.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got about a minute left. Any last words?
And I hope
let's see. Pray for baseball.
Yep.
Pray for baseball. There we go.
Hashtag
pray for a good All-Star game too.
Sure.
I need baseball back. It's
I
gonna
need
be
baseball
so
back.
it's gonna be so boring.
Yeah. Well, hey, enjoy the All-Star game, everybody. If you guys do go, be safe. Churk, I know you're working it, so be careful, and I'll see you on the court.
Brian,
Better not.
Brian, I will see
not.
Brian, I will see you tomorrow on TSG.
Yeah, you're bailing me out, right?
Yes,
Okay, cool.
You're bailing him out after I deal with him.
yes.
Sweet.
Yes, I
All
will.
right, guys. I think that does it.
That
Hey,
does
we
not-
got about 30 seconds till we actually hit the 2-hour mark.
Now it's 4 o'clock.
All
My
right.
clock's at
Bye,
4, so let's get out of here.
All
All right,
right.
guys. It's been fun.
All right.
See you next
Ending
week.
broadcast.